everyone! Welcome to one of my actual Patreon promises for you guys that I'm trying my best to fulfill. And this is sort of a podcast thing. I have no idea how to actually upload just audio, so it'll be just a video for you guys. But you don't have to... There's nothing to actually look at other than what's on the screen here. So if you guys do want to just listen to this, download it, listen to it on the go, wherever you can download through your phone. This is just for you guys on Patreon. And yeah, as you can see by the image here, I just want to kind of complain a little bit about these toxic studios and all of this garbage bullshit that I see all over the place. And I was mentioning today with my fellow tribunal members a post that I had. It's from a comment from one of our loyal, awesome friends of the community, Brad Wolf. He commented by saying, you know, if we apply the same logic to the studios that they do to us, all studios would be filled with sexual predators because they don't see their hypocrisy. And I really wish I would have thought of that before I made the video, because yes, he has an absolute point that these studios do employ a lot of sort of sexual predators, but they also, the word predator definitely is one that I really want to latch onto and try and promote in our fight against the media and against the studios and all of these things, whether it be the sexual predators that they do hire or just their predatory behavior in turning us against each other. So, you know, I want to read to you guys something that I actually wrote to our group chat here for our tribunal. This is between myself, Gary, and Gary from Nerdrotic, Doomcock, and Tom from Midnight's Edge. So I basically wrote, predatory studios might be a good term to start sprinkling around. I don't want to flat out call them pedos, but we need a better buzzword than toxic. It's overused. I'm serious. They give these yahoos a few talking points like it's a good thing to hypnotize the general public into thinking these movies don't bomb, and we need to fight fire with fire and take these fuckers down. And I don't know if any of you saw this post on Reddit where every article was saying, and that's a good thing. Just like how the local news repeats the same stupid story for Conan to clip together into a montage. It gets into these mindless people's brains and they repeat back everything. Just like the ones that call us toxic man babies or racist or sexist. It's essentially mind control with a basis in actual subliminal messages and marketing tactics. And using the term mind control is a little bit of a stretch, but it is something that absolutely happens. You get these little talking points, you get these little buzzwords into our culture, and people start spewing them back as fact. You know, the more you hear it, then it must be true. Just like the Kelly Marie Tran being bullied off of social media shit all over again. They take this shit and run with it like it's true, and it's not. Yeah, and they do it because it's so much easier to send a few talking points to these kind of garbage tier news sites than spend effort and time making movies. They crank out a movie every year on a first draft and they panic when they don't go well. And then they send out these buzzwords. It only works on half of the people though. So they also send out buzzwords like toxic for anybody who disagrees with them, and you know, and you know, like, well, they send out the words like, oh, and it's a good thing. The movie flops, but it's great. But then they also send out you're toxic, you're a man baby, you're whiny, and it is just such bullshit. And it is absolutely designed. Doomcock is absolutely right on this. It is designed to go through and divide us because they know that if we all kind of band together, those half of us that are out there calling each other toxic man babies and shit, those people can be swayed just as easily against the studios because you have leaders and you have followers and you know, you have an average intelligence. And I know my viewers and fans are of the above average intelligence. That's why you're here. That's why you listen to me and Doomcock, because you guys do have minds of your own and you are aware of all this bullshit. And Doomcock is absolutely right with his analogy about the Tower of Babel being one of these sort of things that you know, to kind of describe what they're doing. They're trying to tear us down. They're trying to destroy us. And it's such bullshit. Oh, Lord. And I'm so used to asking people what they think in the comments when I talk about these things. But it is something that I would love to try and get us to kind of sprinkle out there and send these messages when we see these kind of mindless drones on Twitter. I deal with them all the time on Twitter. I've started blocking them. There was a tweet that I was involved in, a thread that Grand Moff Tarkin, actually, one of our awesome people in the community, he was kind of going back and forth with somebody who was a Last Jedi defender, and it was in one of Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers tweet threads. And this guy is like, oh my god, you're so mature for destroying a copy of The Force Awakens on Blu-ray or whatever. And it was The Force Awakens. It wasn't even The Last Jedi. So he got that wrong. He thought it was Last Jedi. It was Force Awakens because Jeremy destroyed a copy of the video or of the Blu-ray on screen on his stream last Saturday. And so Grand Moff Tarkin started just trying to debate him logically and courteously. The guy was not having it at all. So, he said, yeah, I hope I didn't go too far. And I'm trying to like fight these people. And they really get pissed at you when you're nice and respectful to them. And I kind of jumped in and, because he had asked me to look at this thread, I jumped in and I said something like, well, seriously, you've never like torn up a picture of your ex after a bad breakup, because that's kind of how we are. And of course this guy just jumped down my throat on that too, saying, well, god, it's just a movie, why can't you, of course, no, I've never torn up a picture of my ex, no, I've never been bitter about it. So of course I tried to respond with, well, here's my video explaining everything, my 6-minute Toxic Studio video, here's my video explaining everything. And yeah, he didn't. He just like, no, I don't want to watch a video that you link me from YouTube, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, okay, first off, I'm live with Doomcock right now. I don't have time to deal with you, because I was during the Tribunal stream that I was kind of checking my Twitter, because I am a robot and I can multitask like that sometimes. But yeah, it's just such bullshit. Like that. What ends up happening is that they take your tweet and they quote you for all their little followers that they don't even have. And when you go through, one of the things I'm noticing about these people, I've had a couple of them do that, and I've just blocked them immediately rather than dealing with their shit, because they're not going to listen. These people follow a slew. They follow thousands of blue check marks. Their followers, like I follow like 100 or 200 people or something. I don't have time to read every single tweet in my thread, and nor do I want to be advertised to by a lot of verified blue check marks who are basically using Twitter for advertising. I want to build my community and my fan base on my Twitter and defend my friends, and that's one of my goals. So when I see these people who just follow 1,000 blue check marks, I know damn well that they are just mindless consumers. They're going to repeat back the same garbage. They quote The Last Jedi like, oh my god, it's just a movie with laser swords, come on. Like, seriously, you're really gonna just quote back a shit movie at me? You can't think of anything on your own to say? Break your programming. You are a victim of media manipulation. You take these buzzwords and you grasp them like they're fact. And I want to start fighting fire with fire on this. I want to call out these studios for being predatory, toxic studios that send this information, these little buzzwords, to their media sites. A lot of the times, these small news or small web papers or web article writers, they will get like a review copy or a free pass to a movie or whatever, and they'll get a little press kit, and they're kind of subliminally coaxed into what they're told to say. Like, oh, here's your free pass to Han Solo, and it's a good thing, and they all end up, with the same little talking points by using, here, it's a good thing. Solo bombed at the box office, and here's why it's a good thing. Solo's Disney's biggest flop. Here's why it's a good thing. Solo crashes in China, and it's a good thing. And they all kind of recite the same bullshit. It's the same thing with the Kelly Marie Tran article, where everybody just assumed she was bullied off of social media because the original article that you track it down to said they speculated that was why she was off social media. And we're just as powerful as that. I mean, I put one tweet out to Ichi Baka about, Kelly Marie Tran might be on a non-disclosure thing, and everybody ran with it. And I'm proud to have that kind of influence as a nobody on Twitter. This was even before I changed over my format. So that's kind of why I keep grasping at that. And now with the kind of following that we're getting and building, if we can kind of call out these toxic studios and these predatory studios for their practices of pitting us against each other, we can accomplish some miracles here. We can we can really fix this. We can have an uprising that bankrupts these studios. They have to merger with each other to even survive. They are in trouble and they know it, you know, and they're panicked. They're in panic mode. They're very much, if you guys have ever watched any of those sort of restaurant shows where they always keep trying to save money by bringing in like frozen foods to save money on chefs and labor for prep, and their quality keeps going down, and their service keeps going down, and they're giving us worse and worse garbage food at these sort of crappy restaurants. And then you need Gordon Ramsay to come in and say, wait a minute, hire somebody to actually use fresh ingredients and cook for real. This is what people are paying you for. They want quality over this mass-produced shit that they can get at home. And I'm sorry, if you're getting me something that's the equivalent of a bad Sci-Fi Channel movie, I can just watch that on my own. I can watch something on Netflix. I can watch any of my DVDs on my shelf behind me and get something that's going to be more entertaining to me than what these studios are shoveling down our throats with these $100 million movies that aren't that great. I mean, at the end of the day, these aren't that great. And it's been a thing that's been going on for a couple of decades now. I always quote Jay Sherman on The Critic, and I always say, if the movie blows, just don't go. And this was the start of a lot of these endless sequels and reboots and remakes. I mean, if you go back and watch The Critic, they were calling out Jurassic Park 2 before Jurassic Park 2 was a thing. Like it would be a bad thing. And guess what? Jurassic Park 2 wasn't that good. You know, there's only one really good Jurassic Park movie in popular opinion, and that's the first one. And that's kind of how we are with all these things. Same thing with Star Wars. There really hasn't been any really good Star Wars movies in decades. Since the original trilogy. And I know the prequels get a little less hate now, but God, they're not really good movies. To be honest. And I'm tired of this. There is good quality entertainment out there that nobody bothers to talk about because we're so much involved in this kind of cycle of pop culture being the trendy thing now. We have your casual moviegoers and casual sort of fans doing all of this, you know, going through and kind of littering up our fandoms, you know. Like I always like to call out the typical fangirl sort of stuff, and God, then maybe this is why I need to do these on video podcasts. I'm gonna show you this. So somebody sent me this. Actually, Seraph sent me this. This is one of his coworkers' desks. He says this is the typical fangirl sort of thing, and I'm gonna bring it up here for you guys if I can move the image up. That let me fit it to screen here. Yeah, her desk is filled with pop figures that she buys before she even sees the movie. She's got Baby Groot up there. She's never even read a Guardians of the Galaxy comic. You know, these are people who would never be part of the geekdom 20, 30 years ago, and they're kind of out there all of a sudden getting involved in every single piece of geek culture because it's trendy. Because it's the normal thing to do, because they need acceptance somewhere, because there's nothing else for them. And I feel so bad about having to gatekeep them out of our fandoms. But, you know, you're not a geek. You're one of these fake fangirls. And I always notice this, that there's always like two extremes that you see on YouTube, and they're all under 30 or around 30 and under. You have the extreme skinny girl with the butter face, or you have the 300-pound woman with, you know, every geek thing. You never have just a pretty curvy girl talking about cool shit, I guess, except maybe me. I don't know. I hate to be tooting my own horn there, but yeah, and she definitely fits into one of those two categories from what I've heard her described as. But yeah, you know, you get these people who don't get what actual geek fandom is, and they just mindlessly, blindly accept absolutely everything and call you a toxic man baby if you don't like it. And we don't have to accept every single movie that these people shove down our throats. We can wait for the review to come out. We can just boycott all of this. And I hate calling for a boycott, but because I'm one of those people, I just don't see a movie if it doesn't look that interesting. I didn't see Black Panther because it didn't look that interesting, and I didn't want to be called a racist if I didn't like it. So I said, you know what, screw that. Plus, it came out on my birthday, and I'm not a huge superhero movie fan anyway. I'm not a poser like a lot of these fake geek girls who love everything superhero, everything Marvel, because it's the trendy thing. Because this is the today equivalent of like Pretty Woman or whatever movies that they would have been into 20 years ago. Because this is popular, because this is trendy, because this sells. This is something that they can talk about and belong to. And they're in their little kind of safe space bubbles of you can't even call them out on not really knowing what they're involved in, because they call you a gatekeeper, they call you a man baby, they call you toxic. And I'm sorry, if I am really, really into something, I'm a huge music geek. If I'm really, really into something as far as music, I absorb everything about that band. And if I'm like at a concert of somebody that I don't really know that much about, I'm not going to pretend I do. I'm going to say, yeah, I kind of like this. It's all right. You know, like Lindsay Sterling was a perfect example. I kind of liked her stuff quite a bit. I'm not going to go out and buy every one of her albums. I'm not going to go out and buy every one of her things and absorb every bit of her catalog and know every bit of her history, because I'm a very casual fan and I'm not going to pretend to be otherwise. And I think that these people kind of need to understand that there's different levels of fandom, and it's okay to be a casual fan of something. But dear God, don't you fucking bitch at me when I complain about something that I actually know about and that I'm actually a fan of. You know, there are bands that I know every detail of. I know every band member. I know the story behind every song. Don't fuck with the bands I love. Don't fuck with my Star Trek. Don't fuck with Babylon 5. There are things I know in and out. And there are stuff like Marvel movies that I assume I am probably the same level of Marvel viewer as this woman from this office. I've probably seen just as many Marvel movies as she has, but I don't have the illusion that I have to like everything, that I have to say I like all of them. And I certainly don't have the illusion that I have to go to all of them. And I don't like giving people that false message that I'm one of these fake geek girls. And I get shit all the time on my videos. You know, sometimes I get praised and sometimes I get shit. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, you don't even like superheroes? Then why are you telling me this?" Because I'm telling you because of the toxic fandom that is involved, or the message of that, because the predatory studios are trying to pit us against each other, because they're trying to give this message of the future is female, or the Force is female, or any of this bullshit, or they're trying to stir up shit about a black Superman. And if people actually watched the videos, and I know you guys did, because you guys are awesome, that's why you're here on Patreon, but if like half of the people who click on that Superman or Captain Marvel video even watched it, you know, and didn't just assume, oh, you're racist, you're Snow White, why are you talking about this? You're too white to talk about this. It's like, well, first off, my videos kind of explain themselves. Second off, most of the time I'm going after what the buzz is, what the spin on the media is, and why they psychologically use those tactics. So for people to kind of just click on something and assume, you know, it's the same thing when they click on my videos and assume I'm going to be an SJW because I look a certain way, because I have red hair and glasses. And I'm sorry, it's punk rock hair. You know, the SJW typical look are people who can't maintain that hair. They did it because it was trendy and cute, just like the people on who have this this sort of decorations at their desk. They do it because it's trendy and cute, and they're going to move on very quickly. And that's why all the SJW types have the faded pastel hair, because they wash it every day, which you can't do. They wash it in hot water every single day, which you can't do if you have dyed hair. They don't maintain it. They don't reapply the dye when they need to. And I'm sorry, it takes work. It takes effort to have vibrant, bright red hair. You know, you need a specific dye. You need a specific, amount of maintenance. You need to kind of really know what you're getting into when you have hair like that and need to maintain it. And I've had long hair for many, many, many years. Most of my life I've had very long hair, so I kind of know how to maintain it anyway. And a lot of these kind of social justice-y warrior looking women are very much, these are the same women who had the Rachel in the 90s. They had the Rachel from Friends haircut in the 90s, and now they have the pink pastel washed out hair, or purple or blue, because it's trendy, because it's cute, not because it means anything to them, you know? I have bright fucking red hair because I always wanted bright fucking red hair. I see women in bands, like goth metal bands, that have it that looks amazing. I see anime girls that have that and it looks amazing, and I want the bright red vibrant hair. It's punk rock to me. It is better than black hair because black hair has the goth stereotype. And you know what? I'm not goth. I'm a music geek. I'm a fan of Star Trek, and I'm a fan of Babylon 5. And I'm a punk rocker at heart, and I'm a metalhead. And there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I just don't understand with trendy people in the world today. And I don't want to like attack trendy people either. It's just something I've never been a trend jumper. I've never been a follower. Anytime something got popular, like when black hair started to become a popular thing where people had like they started doing that with the white makeup and black lipstick, drawing upside down crosses on their face and shit. I was already beyond that. I had already lost the black hair because I had black hair and bright red lipstick. I never had that white clown makeup on. You know, I was never quite goth, and a lot of people didn't really realize that. I was very much almost trying to be like sexy vampire sort of look, and that's probably a little bit of where the bright red hair comes in too, because I think red hair is really sexy, but I don't know. So hopefully you guys are enjoying a kind of unfiltered podcast sort of thing, and I do like having some sort of images for you guys to look at, so hopefully it's not an issue to have a video-ish podcast for you guys as well. Thank you so much. I am MechaRandom42, which you already know. You're on Patreon. You guys are the best patrons a girl could ever ask for, the best viewers, the best fans. I love you guys so much. And hopefully I'll try and get my book review up for you guys soon. I know that won in the polls, but thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys on the next live stream, video, or whatever. Bye!